Hello and welcome to Ware Gaming Weekly for the week of March 6th, 2019. I'm your host, Nicholas Ware, alongside my brother Joshua. Say hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
So this week we have quite a bit of news. First of all, Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Gen 8 titles, have been revealed for the Nintendo Switch, and I could not be more excited. Well, I could be a little bit more excited. I'm pretty excited, but I'm pretty stoked. And then, of course, Season of the Drifter has been announced and released. Not announced, but released for Destiny and Destiny 2 and much more. For your information, Wire Gaming Weekly posts every Wednesday on YouTube.com and on podcast services. If you want to be a part of the show, write in to weekly@waregaming.com. And you can watch us stream live on twitch.tv/waregaming_ when we stream The Division 2 upcoming soon. Of course, you can also tweet us at waregaming_. Anything you wanna add, Josh?
I don't think so. We have a lot of good news to go over, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Cool. So why don't we get into the who, what, and where, and let's talk about Pokemon because that's what I want to talk about.
Pokemon.
All right. You want me to take it? Or you want to take it?
I'll take it. Pokemon Sword and Shield's new Gen 8 starters revealed.
This is from GameSpot.
This is Kevin
Nazevic.
from GameSpot. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company finally pulled back the curtain on Pokemon Sword and Shield, the series' 8th generation titles for Switch, during February's anticipated Pokemon Direct presentation. On top of revealing details about the game's setting, we got our first look at the brand new trio of Pokemon starters. Just as in previous Pokemon games, players will be presented with a choice of 3 different Pokemon when they first begin their adventure. This time around, the options will be the Grass-type Grookey, a green monkey, the Fire-type Rabbit, Scorbunny, and the Water-type Lizard, Sobble. You can see all 3 of the. Nah, you can't because we're not going to show it.
Yeah.
No other new Pokemon have been revealed yet, but we did get a glimpse of a ton of returning Pokemon, including a handful from Sun and Moon. Sword and Shield are set in the new Galar region, which appears to be based on Britain and spans idyllic countryside, rustic towns, and snowy mountains. Pokemon Sword and Shield are being directed by Shigeru Omori, who also served as director of Sun and Moon. Based on the footage we revealed thus far, Sword and Shield appeared to be much more traditional takes on the series than the recent Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee. Random encounters seem to be back, and players will once again be able to battle wild Pokemon before capturing them.
Yes, please.
It's also been confirmed that gyms are returning after they were dropped from Sun and Moon. We also spotted mysterious symbols, though it's unclear what significance they have, if any. Pokemon Sword and Shield released exclusively for Nintendo Switch in late 2019. That doesn't appear to be all that awaits Pokemon fans this year, however. Towards the end of the presentation, the Pokemon Company president, Tsunekazu Ishihara, teased that the company has plenty in the works for the Pokemon brand, and we hope will delight you.
Please be excited.
Please be excited.
And I am Joshua. It's just such a weird thing for me to be super excited about because I think if someone would ask me if I was a Pokemon fan, I would say that I like it because it's something that everyone's supposed to like.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've told you before, but I don't know that I've ever 100%ed a single Pokemon game. And of course that's
I don't know if I've ever 100%ed a Pokemon game.
Well, you know what I mean. I've never beaten a Pokemon game, and I'm sort of ashamed to admit that. I mean, I've played many of them, but I've never completed them. And the last, I don't even know. I think the last one that I played was one of the DS games. I probably emulated it on my computer, and then I'm like, oh, you know what would be really fun is while I'm in class, play Pokemon, and then I never did that because I paid attention in class, like a dork. But so I'm super excited. I'm excited to have something hardcore on my Switch that I know I'll play. I'm definitely getting sword. So yeah. Well, I mean, if you got yourself a Nintendo Switch, you could get use sword, but I'm getting sword. So
But we have to have one of each.
yeah. Well, I'm not buying it twice. So
Yeah.
get yourself a Switch, and then I'll get a shield. If you get Switch, I'll get shield. But I will make that whatever.
If I get Switch, you get Shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the three main types: Sobble,
the three
Scorbunny.
starters.
Yes, sorry. Sobble, Scorbunny, and Grookey. Not the most like interesting design choices.
Not hardly.
Yeah. Grookey. I mean, Sobble. Like if I were to tier it, it would probably be Scorbunny, Grookey, Sobble. And I was reading a Reddit on. I wasn't in the subreddit, but like a screenshot from a subreddit talking about this guy who had this theory about each of these Pokemon and what they're going to evolve into. He some of it I didn't buy and some of it I did. The part that I didn't buy was like he was like, well, Scorbunny is obviously like soccer related, and I was like, what? And like, well, the Great Britain part maybe, but for some reason he was like the score and Scorbunny was a score and goal. And I'm like,
That's a stretch.
It's Scorch, and then Sobble. It didn't really go much into, but Grookey. It was talking about how the first time you see Grookey in the trailer, he is using a stick to beat a drum, or to beat a rock, and he thinks it's gonna involve this. The Redditor thinks it's gonna involve Grookey and music together, because the Gru, instead of being like grass or whatever, is groove. And so that was interesting to me.
I could see that. I mean, if you go back to the Jungle Book, they were all playing drums and stuff like that. So
Well, he's a monkey,
right,
or a chimp, or whatever.
right. So monkeys, drums kind of go hand in hand, but it would be a little weird. I mean, Pokemon Company will do whatever they want. As far as the designs go, again, they're just. I think if you overlaid, especially the grass and the water one, Sobble and Grookey, if you overlaid them together, I'm pretty sure it's just like a palette swap.
Yeah.
Like not Pallet Town, but like they.
Mm-hmm.
But they look identical. Their heads are shaped the same. They got the same. They've all got the same heads, the same like head features and eye shapes, and so it's a little disappointing that they're not more different.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the past, even if I didn't really care for the starters, there was more diversity in how they looked. One was like there was I'm going to fail on this one, but go back to the beginning. Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, they had similar features, but they were very different.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Clearly different Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think Scorbunny is clearly the way you're gonna go, anybody's gonna go, unless it evolves into a fighting type, because everybody's tired of the fighting.
Is that a common?
Yeah, that's people. There's like I saw a post or a tweet or something that was like, please don't let Scorbunny turn into a firefighting type, because you had Torchic, one of the starters that evolved into a firefighting, and apparently that's just a common thing. I mean, you have Incineroar is also a firefighting.
Do they fight fires?
Maybe. Mm-hmm. No, Squirtle does.
So, is it common for this is again dating the fact that I have not played Pokemon in a very long time? Is it common for Pokemon to like change its type as it evolves? Has that always been a thing, or is that some like new element that's been added? Because I'm like,
I think after Generation 2, like the Johto, because in the Johto they introduced Steel and Dark and all that type. So I think as the generations progressed, you got to see more and more different types, even evolving from or evolving to different types. I mean, Eevee.
Well, okay,
yeah. But going back to Sword and Shield, I think clearly it's the most ambitious they've ever gone. I don't think they went as far as they could have.
No, but
But this could sow the seeds of growing into something more because I mean it's all 3D environments, but it looks more like they took a 2D map of like the old games and made it 3D more than like an open world
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild that we were kind of pipe. It was the pipe dream that we were wanting.
Yeah. I think it's gonna marry. I mean, this is what they said in the direct was they really wanted. Well, they didn't say they really wanted, but they specifically mentioned that this was for the Let's Go audience too. It was like if we got new players, new kids who played Let's Go, if that was baby's first Pokemon, now we can train them to be better Pokemon gamers.
Yeah.
Or more deep Pokemon gamers. Now, I've heard some people who are upset about the starters being grass, fire, and water.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it would be interesting to see.
It would be interesting to see it. Sorry, I don't want
to. I mean, if it was a ghost and this, that, and the other thing, but in a way, I wonder if because brand new console, brand new game on a brand new console, if it's some sort of like nod to where they were coming from, and then they can kind of like start
sure
and build up.
I swear I thought you were about to knock over your coffee as you were doing that. I was like,
no, well, my coffee's about empty. So
yeah, it happens. Yeah. Mine's halfway there.
Yeah. So anyway, keep an eye out. That comes later this year, and we will definitely be playing. Well, I talked about that. I was excited about it. Are you excited for it?
I'm interested in it. I mean, I played red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal, black, and then black 2.
What about white?
I don't know. I don't think I played either of the whites. And then I played X. No, I played Y. And I think that was the last one I played. I didn't play Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon or Let's Go. I played Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Cool.
I had another train of thought.
Yeah.
But I didn't even need to bring it up because I lost it. So.
Oh well. Don't lose your trains.
Yeah.
Next time. If it comes up later, just bring it up.
Sure.
So, on Microsoft's side, they are reportedly launching a discless Xbox One S next month. Next month. I didn't read that last time. And it's rumored to hit stores in May. So this is from Tom Warren at The Verge. Microsoft is reportedly launching a new Xbox.
Hang on. That I just want to point out that title, the headline,
is a little
wrong.
Confusing.
Microsoft reportedly, I should have proofread this, reportedly launching discless Xbox One S next month, rumored to hit stores in May.
Well, maybe it's supposed to, instead of launching, like announcing.
No, they've already announced that.
Well, let's read the article. Okay. Microsoft is reportedly launching a new Xbox One S without a disk drive next month. Windows Central reports that Microsoft will unveil a diskless Xbox One S all digital edition, which the jokes I've seen on one of the Facebook forums says Xbox One sad.
Sad.
All digital edition. With pre-orders expected to be available in mid-April. This new console is said to be available in the stores in May ahead of Microsoft's typical E3 press conference in June. Codename Xbox Maverick, details on the diskless console appeared in November. Microsoft is also rumored to be creating an option to ship the diskless console with games pre-installed so new Xbox owners can choose the games they want installed before the console ships. That's pretty cool.
Don't consoles always ship without discs?
Very true.
You have to buy the disc to put it in there.
Yeah.
They're
I guess
shipping one
they
without
should
a disc
probably be more
drive.
specific saying disc driveless.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
optical free.
Optical free. Sounds like you just recovered from a medical thing. I'm optical free. If the report is accurate, Microsoft's Xbox One S will be designed for digital copies of games. It will, well, because
clearly,
It will likely
Sorry.
mean this new console is cheaper than the existing Xbox One S, as the costly Blu-ray drive is being removed. It will also be designed for services like the Xbox Game Pass that deliver games digitally. Microsoft has been aggressively pushing its Xbox Game Pass, a subscription service that provides access to more than 100 Xbox games and other games. The software maker even stated launching its first-party Xbox Game Studios titles like Sea of Thieves and Crackdown 3 on Xbox Game Pass at the same time as their retail launch dates. Microsoft is also readying its xCloud game streaming service. The streaming service will use Xbox One S hardware and servers and stream games to PCs, consoles, and mobile devices. Last week we had mentioned something about maybe it coming to the Switch. No, that was 2 weeks ago. Microsoft is planning to start public trials of xCloud later this year, but a digital-only version of the Xbox One S would be a good fit for the service. Do you think that would get you to get an Xbox?
Here's my thing. Now, we were kind of laughing at the story, so we're not making fun of Tom Warner or anything. It was just kind of like obvious statement was obvious. But he mentions the costly Blu-ray drive is being removed, and I'm pretty sure I might be way wrong on this, but I mean, I could build a PC and put a Blu-ray drive in it for like $40. I think at the most. So I don't know how much money this is actually going to save, other than like maybe you can make the system more compact and use a little less plastic and stuff.
I mean, I guess does that mean that the console is $40 cheaper?
I mean, but is $40 cheaper enough to push someone to
Right.
buy it? When I think the One S you can buy it for $200, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe $150 might push somebody to buy it. I think it's interesting. If the price point is there, then sure. Will it push me? Maybe. Maybe just to have Game Pass.
Yeah. See, that's the thing I've been thinking about is if Game Pass does really come to the Switch, then do I want an Xbox? Especially like if I could play Sea of Thieves or Crackdown on the Switch, which I know we're still talking hypotheticals because they haven't confirmed anything about that. Do I want to buy a dedicated console for it?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I do want to get into Game Pass because there are some games I want to play.
Sure.
Like Sea of Thieves. But I don't know. It says, the costly Blu-ray being removed based off what you were saying. But the other aspects of removing, like not having physical, is it probably, changes not other parts of the interior too, right?
Well, that's what I mean. You have less material in there because you don't have the disk drive.
And so all the pieces that are in there,
and so you can make the box a little smaller. It's basically just going to be like a motherboard, a processor, and the fan and then whatever, and then that's it. And so you have less plastic for the case to encase the.
Seems kind of like
motherboard.
a Steam machine. At this,
I mean that's basically it's just a stream box like an Ouya, but with it for Xbox.
Yeah.
It could be interesting. But I mean, do you want to spend $140 on that or wait for Xbox 2?
Well, what if this is Xbox 2?
What?
What if this is Xbox 2?
They said it's the Xbox One S. So
well, yeah, but I guess I'm curious if Xbox next generation isn't as cut and dry as Xbox 2.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to wait and see. But what we won't have to wait and see for is March's free PlayStation Plus games that are out. And they're, this headline says they're big ones. That's an arguable statement. This is from Steve Watts, and we were practicing this earlier, but I think we got it wrong.
Janae Sitzes
is what we'll say.
From GameSpot.
So PlayStation Plus is slimming down this month, as it's doing away with free PS3 and Vita games. That just leaves 2 PlayStation 4 games as the PS Plus freebies for the month, but they're rather big ones. They're both enhanced for PlayStation Pro if you happen to own the higher-end system. Both games will be available until April 2nd, and they are Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, and The Witness. So the Witness was a puzzle adventure game, which is the follow-up to Braid from the creator Jonathan Blow. Both of these games came out in 2016. Well, the Modern Warfare Remastered came out in 2016. And so the Plus, PS3, and Vita games for February are still available for a little while longer, though by the time anyone watches this,
Probably
they
not.
will not be. March 8th is when they go off.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you've never played Modern Warfare, it's definitely worth hopping in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like you said, they said they're big games. I mean, Modern Warfare released 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's better than some months we've had.
Yeah.
Witness is interesting. It's frustrating.
I mean, if you're
It's
really
very
into
pretty.
puzzle games and stuff like that, that's really good. But I could not get into it.
I played it for a little while, and I was just like, okay, this is just above my head. I'm sure if I wanted to, I could get in there, but
Yeah.
I know people who really, really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. The talking point for me in this article, in this top story, is, when this was first announced that the PS3 and the Vita games were going to go out back about a year ago when they first announced it.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying, "Oh, well, that means we just have 2 PS4 games," and I was convinced that that's not what that meant. I was like, "Well, they didn't say what they were doing; they just said what they're not doing."
Yeah.
And so I was pretty convinced, like, well, that means we'll get either more PS4 games or VR games. But everyone else seemed to be right, or at least for this month, that it's only just going to be the 2 games.
I suspect that Sony will add to it at some point. Maybe not yet. I think they're just going to continue to stay quiet, and then whenever they announce PS4 or PS5, during that whole, I think that's going to be just like a big event, and they're just going to say, this is what the next 5 years of PlayStation is going to look like. PlayStation Plus is getting an overhaul, and they're just like, we're just going to ride it out for now. Maybe they do the next few months are going to be just big drops.
Yeah, all the money that they're saving for not putting all those other games on there.
Sure,
they'll put it up here.
But yeah, it would be nice to see PSVR get some love and that. Maybe one a month or one every couple months.
Yeah,
I know
get, like,
they were
Beat
kind of
Saber on there. Man, I'd be down.
Oh yeah. All right, so in other news, Apex Legends hits 50 million players. This is by Colin Stevens at IGN.
Yeah, he's at
IGN. 1 month after its initial release, Apex Legends has hit 50 million players worldwide. Revealed through the official Apex Legends Twitter account, the post reads, Apex Legends hit 50 million players worldwide. We are humbled by all of your support and can't wait to show you what's next. Apex Legends...
It's the tweet.
Oh. I was like, I'm not saying that again. While not specified, this 50 million player number is likely referring to anyone who has ever downloaded and played the game on PC, PS4, Xbox One, regardless if it was one match or 100.
Way to take the wind out of the sails there.
Well, I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
And a brief video included with the announcement, developer Respawn Entertainment also revealed that over the last month, 158 million finishers have been used. 1.23 billion ultimates have been activated. 31 billion pings. 31 billion pings have been placed. And over 170 million respawns and more.
Yeah, that's crazy.
While this milestone is certainly impressive, it's not entirely surprising considering Apex hit 25 million total players after its first week. This followed news that the free-to-play battle royale brought in over 10 million players in the first 3 days and 1 million in less than 8 hours.
Wow.
Fortnite, Apex Legends' biggest battle royale competitor, surpassed 200 million total players in November 2018, well over a year after its initial release. So, still got a ways to go to hit that number.
I still haven't played it.
Still haven't played it.
I'm not in one of those numbers.
No. I've downloaded it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to.
And I have nothing against it.
I haven't really been able to sit down and
really play.
spend the time to get into it, and I want to do that, and I'll do that on stream, I think.
Yeah.
I hear the pro tip though is to go in with only either solo queue or go in with one other person. But if you go in with teams of 3, the matches are a lot sweatier.
What does that mean?
So if you and 2 other people group up and go in, you're only going to be matched with people in groups of 3.
Right.
As in, like, they're all groups communicating and stuff, like in a party chat. Whereas if you go in like 1 or 2, you're going to be matched with solos, less coordinated players. And
so, but wait, so you want to do that?
Well, if you want a less like hardcore match,
oh, okay,
then you go in with 1 or 2, and then you have fun. If you want to go in and like beat your head against the wall, then you go in with 3.
Oh, so like it matches. It can tell if all 3 of you are in the same group.
Right.
And puts you with other people who are all in the same group.
That's right.
As opposed to okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, I mean,
I was like, I don't know how else to explain it.
yeah. Well, I was just trying to get like what the like in my head the benefit is going as a team, but that makes sense.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll let you take this one because this is your, and I took the last 2.
Sure.
So.
All right. Continuing on the games of service, Destiny 2 gets another injection of really, I'm adding to his title, really cool new stuff. This is from Jason Schreier at Kotaku.
Yeah.
As fans of looter shooters find themselves wondering which one to play. Yeah. Here's a reminder that Destiny 2 is as good as it's ever been, and it's only getting better.
I didn't know Jason was a big Destiny guy.
Oh, yeah.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's the one that's broken all kinds of news and like
Yeah.
inside information.
Wow.
One of the other the article from today he posted that I didn't feel like was relevant. Well, it was relevant, but not enough. At the end of it, it's like Destiny's a good game, and like he'll do that on Twitter every now and then.
Yeah.
Like just like that'll be the whole thing is Destiny's a good game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on Tuesday, Bungie, that's today. So by the time you see this, you can go play it. Bungie will put out Destiny 2's first big update since the Activision divorce 2 months ago, as the game enters the season of the Drifter. If you have the Destiny 2 annual pass, you'll get a bunch of new Gambit-themed content and quests. If you don't, you'll still get some cool stuff like Gambit private matches and a new exotic quest. This Bungie guide is pretty helpful. So basically, first there's a new variant on Gambit called Gambit Prime. It seems like it's a far more intense version of the PvEVP, which is player versus environment versus player. It's 1 round rather than 3, and allows invading players not to just kill their opponents, but also steal their moats, denying them progress along the way. Also, the final boss will have raid-like mechanics.
That's crazy.
That will require your team to do far more than just shoot it.
But I just like shooting things.
Well,
but get over it.
Yep. There's also a new Gambit-related PvE activity called The Reckoning that we don't know much about yet. One Bungie dev compared parts of it to the Crota raid in Destiny 1. It looks wild and will give you rewards, and you can use them to use back in Gambit Prime. I watched the Vidoc, and that really looked like, you remember the Halloween event?
Yeah.
It really looked a lot like that. Not dark, but like super bright, kind of like you're running through the Infinite Forest, but it looked like there's enemies all over the place.
Wow. So like horde mode.
Basically, like a timed horde mode.
Oh. Okay.
So it's timed just like the Halloween event, but like you got to be running or like basically sprinting through. You have enemies in front of you, behind you, like
That's
big
crazy.
enemies, big taken enemies and knights, and it looked really intense. And they said it was very difficult.
Wow.
So. In Reckoning, you can get special Gambit-themed armor based on specific roles: Reaper, Collector, Sentry, and Invader. Each of these armor sets will give perks tailored to a specific Gambit playstyle, which is a totally new and very cool concept in Destiny. You'll be able to do special bounties as a catch-up mechanic. This is really good for us because I just haven't had time to play. They were called. He didn't say what they're called. But special bounties as a catch-up mechanic to quickly get up to power level 640, presumably what you need for the Reckoning, if you're not already there. There'll also be a quest called Allegiance, which lets you pick a side, the Vanguard or the Drifter, and advance your version of Destiny 2's story accordingly. We're also going to start getting invitations of the Nine, bounties that offer an exploration of the Nine and their mysterious place in the universe. The first one will show up with Xur on March 15th. Also, Thorn is coming back, so get ready for PvP to be full of poison.
Every rose has its
So,
thorn.
I watched the Vidoc. It was awesome. It
Yeah.
made me really excited to come back to Destiny. In a matter of 2 hours, you can go from wherever your light level is up to the minimum light level of 640.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Then you can get right into playing Gambit Prime, like a single round of Gambit. Then you hop over and you do the Reckoning, which is inside the sack. If you know the Drifter ship, he's got the big giant ball.
I don't think I've ever looked at Drifter ship.
Well, when you go into Gambit,
And you're in the, and you're.
well, like you travel to Gambit, you see his ship, and he's like dragging
Oh.
like this giant ball behind him. So apparently the Reckoning is in there. The cinematics in the Vidoc showed other agents of the Nine,
Interesting.
which we have not seen,
Except for
and
Xur.
other than Xur, and actually talking to them. And one person called him Dredgen, which in the lore,
Dredgen the Drifter.
no, Dredgen is a title. So
Oh.
in the lore for the Last Word and Thorn, Dredgen Yor was a guardian who cast off the light and turned to the dark side, basically, and took on the name Dredgen Yor. And his weapon was Thorn, and he killed the owner of the Last Word. So
Interesting.
they just in the last expansion we got the Last Word and the Black Armory, and now we're getting Dorn again. So
Yeah.
so I like that they're reincorporating that and giving hints. Now he's not going to be Dredgen Yor because Dredgen Yor is dead.
Okay.
But the idea that he is also a fallen guardian.
Interesting.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
all that
very
is
interesting.
kind of foreign. Even as someone who plays, it's like I just can't get into it in that way. But I have some stuff to say about Destiny, but I want to save it for this week's topic because, but it's good, but it's sort of related.
Sure.
But yeah, well, let's get through this and then we'll have our this week's topic. So
Okay.
Keeping with the games as a service, because that's the only games that come out anymore.
Yeah.
Anthem players say the game is crashing their PS4s. And now there's some updates to this, but I'm going to tell you the story as it goes. This is from Ethan Gatch.
This is a long one.
Let's see. Ethan Gatch. Kotaku. So, it has been a rough launch for BioWare. This is him. It's been a rough launch for BioWare's new looter shooter, and some PS4 players are now finding that the game constantly occasionally shuts off their system as well. When encountering a crash or game error, sometimes I get booted to the main menu or out of the game completely to the PS4 dashboard. A user who goes by For the Masters posted on the game's subreddit over the weekend. But twice now when trying to matchmake, my PS4 has completely turned off. The rest of the thread is filled with other commenters saying the same thing has happened to them on both the standard PS4 and the PS4 Pro, sometimes completely out of the blue, other times while they're trying to exit the game. The PS4 then treats it as an improper shutoff, as if the cord has been pulled. There are several reports of the game's official form of this happening as well. The console powers down and will not power on using the normal method of pressing the PS4 button on the controller, wrote one player. It's the same as if someone pulled a plug without properly shutting the hardware down or if the power went out in the house. Sometimes the button on the front of the console works, other times I have to unplug the console and plug it back in. Neither Sony nor EA have immediately responded for requests for comment. As any PS4 user who's occasionally unplugged their consoles forgetting it was in rest mode knows, the PS4 does not like this and displays a warning saying, never do it again, or you're grounded.
And it'll even yell at you.
Yeah.
Like,
The PS4 will then display the error code, blah, blah, blah. One player even says the game bricked their consoles. PSA to any, quote, PSA to any Anthem players on PlayStation that experience complete shutdown of their consoles. Stop playing, this Redditor said. My PlayStation has been completely bricked to the point of not even turning on because of Anthem. They said they really liked the game despite all the issues. They just wanted to warn other players about the potential danger to their consoles. And a follow-up email to Kotaku, the person said they were playing on the Call of Duty World War II Limited Edition PS4, which wasn't that very long ago.
Yeah. Let's go and skip to the update.
So the update is that this was as this morning, as of this recording, a workaround for the PS4 that no longer turn on after shutting down while running Anthem has been shared on Reddit, which is able to help one person who reached out to us get their console working again. The method requires booting the console in safe mode by holding down the power button for several seconds until you hear 2 beeps. From there, the players need to select options labeled Rebuild Database. When that process is complete, the PS4 should be working again. They've updated the headline for this article to reflect that it no longer appears that Anthem is bricking some consoles, but rather causing software issues that can be fixed by operating them in safe mode. Regardless, make sure you put, always back up. If you have PlayStation Plus, you have 100 gigabytes of stored.
Save data storage.
So
definitely
always save your games.
What a launch for Anthem.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's disappointing, and I when I first heard about the original story about the guy who said that the console wouldn't turn back on, I knew it was this because I remember a couple of years ago something very similar happened. They were playing something, and it bricked their console, and it just turned out that they just needed to boot it in safe mode and rebuild the database.
Yeah.
So when I first heard that, I was like, well, obviously they just need to go into safe mode. And they'll figure that out. It's just causing some kind of weird crash loop that the PS4 just completely disregards any commands, and you have to go and break that cycle.
Yeah. When it says rebuild database, does that erase all the memory and stuff?
I don't know.
Because anytime I see something like that, I'm like,
am I going to lose everything? I mean, they didn't. I would assume that if you were going to lose your data, they would have put that in the title or in the information too.
Yeah, that's true.
Be warned that if you rebuild the database, which you have to in this point, you're going to lose all your data. Like when Nick played Beautiful Joe on the PS2.
Funny story. I was talking to one of my coworkers from one of my old jobs, and he was talking about he was playing. I asked him if he was into Kingdom Hearts, and he said he put a lot of hours into Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2 or something like that. But then he said his memory got released when he played a demo. And I was like, was that demo Beautiful Joe 2 or Beautiful Joe? And he said, yes, it was. And I was like, yes. I'm not alone anymore. I did that to my brother.
I think somewhere around 100 hours into Final Fantasy X. I was like 3 bosses from the end fighting the boss. It was like a series of versions of the boss you had to beat. And Nick plays Beautiful Joe. I think it was 2. I think it was Beautiful Joe 2. There was a demo disc, PlayStation Underground or something, and they sent out these free demo discs. And if you played Beautiful Joe 2, while the memory card was in the slot, for some reason it would corrupt it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we lost that entire memory card. But more importantly, the game I was playing, Final Fantasy X, I was almost done.
Yeah.
And
he still doesn't let me leave it.
No.
You
I will never let you live it down.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Anthem.
I just want to say, like, it sucks because you had said don't play that because it looks dumb, I remember distinctly you saying, I was like, oh, looking through the little catalog or the book, I'm like, oh, there's Beautiful Joe, there's this, that, and the other thing, and like, I'm like, I kind of want to play that, and you're like, it looks dumb, don't play it, and then I do, and that's what happens. But I'm
apparently
like,
it was a good game. I had a thing against those kind of art styles.
Cell shaded, yeah.
That was just on me. But
I mean, when you get a free demo disc, you should be able to play it without worrying about, whatever.
Who took the memory cards out of their consoles? Like, I just always left it plugged in.
Just like you should be able to play Anthem.
This is not the topic of the week, by the way.
Yeah. No, but we did want to bring Anthem in to talk about what we've been playing and what we've been doing. We've had a weird relationship with Anthem.
Yeah.
Not one that we expected for sure. There's a lot of like controversy going. Well, just like this, controversy going around Anthem right now that I feel like it's probably deserved in some respect and overblown in other respects. Now that this article has been updated, saying it's not actually breaking anyone's consoles. It's like, but everyone.
I mean, it's not good that it's crashing at all.
No, you're right.
And it's not okay for a game that you spent $60 on to be just shutting down your console.
Right.
Like, it should work. And
Fallout 76 didn't even do that.
And there's no way these problems that are widespread like this, like everybody who talks about playing it has had crashes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I haven't played enough of it to have a crash, but you had an instance where the color inverted or something.
Yeah.
And so there's no way this kind of stuff got past QA.
But it is.
They knew about it.
Oh.
I'm saying it didn't ship without their knowledge of some of these issues.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's common for a game like this to come out and new issues to happen.
Yeah.
But based on the VIP demos and such, the state those were in and what they were, and even 6 weeks, clearly there wasn't enough time there to fix a lot of the issues. And you go into these games expecting there to be problems, especially a developer who's not done this before. Bungie has had problems with Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, putting out enough content, making sure everything works and not being broken. Then there's always going to be bugs. And then Division had a number of issues. So you expect these games and services to come with some problems. But there is an expectation, like when you spend $60, you should be able to at least enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Like, if they're going to put out this game, which is content light, very bare bones at release, it should at least be polished and done. And it's not. And it's clear that BioWare knew. BioWare is a very good developer. They have a great team. They're very responsive on Twitter. They're very good. They knew the state the game was in. They would have loved to have another year. I guarantee it. Like a year from now, this game is going to look like they wanted it to look. Just like in Destiny 1, the Taken King is really what they wanted Destiny 1 to look like when they launched. It just, timetables didn't work out.
And then, like, Forsaken did that.
I
call it the Forsaken King.
The Forsaken King. Yeah, it was the same for Destiny 2. So it's not unprecedented, but I think just the condition of Anthem, what's going on, and just the content of the game it's just surprising.
Yeah.
How I mean, just looking at EA as the publisher, you have Apex Legends, which Shadow dropped, has virtually, like, I've heard minimal talk about problems with that game. I'm not saying there isn't any problems, but as it's a 100-player, 3-person, squads of 3.
I think it's 80 players, but
something like that. But I'm just saying the same publisher's got one game that's rocking it out, and another game that's clearly got a lot of issues,
Yeah.
and having them released so close to each other just shows how not ready Anthem
How
was.
different timelines they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, s- I I don't like seeing an onslaught of negativity coming out against the game, and there's such like a fine well when you're dealing with the internet, it
Yeah.
seems like there's such a fine line between what's hate or haters and criticism,
Yeah.
and I think what it is like criticism that also comes with like a jab.
Yeah.
I don't really like.
No.
It's like I'll see Andrea Renee or people who are big in the games as a service community say, "Hey BioWare, this thing happened in my game. Can you help me fix it, or can you tell me what I can do to fix it?" And they'll get a response, and it's fine, and they go off and have a fun game. But it's like, "Hey, this expletive game does this expletive thing, and fucking screw you for doing
making
it."
a game. So yeah, there's some weird dunking culture, as I've been calling it. I don't know if I coined the term or if I heard it from somewhere. I'm sure I heard it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if I mentioned it on here or just to you. Like, it feels like everybody was ready to trash Anthem before it even came out.
Oh yeah, you said because I don't know that. Well, go ahead and say your
Like,
piece.
I felt like there was this weird air around Anthem, like people just waiting for it to come out and not be perfect, and come out and start hating on it. And I don't hate on it. I'm trying to be very critical of it because I was very excited to play Anthem. I pre-ordered it and I was ready to go, and then I got into it, and it was just clear to me, like there was this disconnect between all these different pieces. I'm trying to be a little organized, but I want to talk about playing the game. And I'm gonna, if I do that, I'm gonna get away from this current.
Well, I mean, we can rope that in. So, so you were saying that this dunking culture,
Right.
when the game came out, or before the game came out, from what you were seeing, people were ready to hate it, and then it
Yeah.
came out, and then they did.
Yeah, and there's one particular Facebook group that we're a part of that I'm seeing 25 posts a day about, oh, we call it Anthem, or Anthem looks like terrible, or calling it now, Anthem's gonna fail, or things
Yeah.
like that. I'm like,
Why do you want?
why? Why do you want to see this fail, or why are you like reveling in this failure? Like, I don't think it's gonna be a failure. BioWare, like I said, BioWare is a good developer.
Yeah.
They knew the problems. They knew most of these problems going in. Probably not all of them, clearly.
Yeah.
And they've got plans to fix them. Like, it's clear. But I don't understand. Just like, okay, clearly the game wasn't for you. You probably didn't even pick up the game. What drives people to be like enjoying this?
Yeah.
I don't
I saw a good-
like if I don't know if Gears of War 5 comes out and it flops, or 6, whatever the next one is,
It's
flops. I'm not gonna sit around and be like, well, Gears failed, blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Xbox game sucks, whatever.
like it's not gonna improve me or my life or
Yeah.
my enjoyment of games I like to watch another
I mean,
game.
that's Crackdown 3 right now.
Yeah, exactly. Crackdown 3. I'm not being like, well, Crackdown sucks because it's not a, I mean, people are enjoying Crackdown. People who are playing it, enjoying it, and if you went into Crackdown thinking it was going to be, I don't know, Halo, brand new Halo, then you probably misread what Crackdown was going to be. I think having Terry Crews was very clear what Crackdown was going to be. And watching anything, I was like, okay, I know what this game is going to be. It's not going to be for me.
Yeah.
But having it come out and not be a 10, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, screw that game, because
Yeah.
I don't get the dunking culture. Like,
Yeah.
why do we all got to hate on something? If you don't like it, that's fine, and just leave it alone. And if you paid for it, it's okay to be critical of it. And I can understand the like, man, if even if I'm not paying attention to like any of the media or IGN or anything, if I bought the game and I come home and I pop it into my PlayStation 4 and I play it and it crashes, and I was like, well, what was that? That was weird. And I play it again and it crashes.
And then you go and look it up, and you're like, what,
I can understand being upset. I mean, I just paid $60, $80, $100 for this game, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I would be frustrated, and if I contacted them and they're not willing to refund me or like show me that they're going to fix it, then voice your opinion, and but you don't have to be nasty about it. And if you didn't buy the game, if you weren't interested in the game, then don't talk about it. Like, just go on with your life. Go enjoy something else. Like, I don't understand just being negative.
Yeah, very well put. I saw. I was reading through a Facebook thread of people arguing. It might have been about Anthem. It might have been about something else. But someone said that they didn't like this thing, and the other person said, "Well, I do." And then they were going back and forth on it. But it ended with. It was pretty respectful. It ended with this comment saying, "Well, I read it as respectful. You could also read it as snarky, but it said, just know that because I don't like something doesn't ruin your enjoyment of something."
Mm-hmm.
And I think that out of the whole thing, that's the most important thing to get out of all of it. It's just let people enjoy things. Call people out if there's something wrong with it.
Yeah,
but
just like we were saying, crashing and appearing to brick your console. If I don't know what's going on, I can't turn my PlayStation on. I'm going to start freaking out because I've paid $400 or $500 for a console and now it doesn't work because I played your game.
Yeah,
like, you need to fix this because this is not okay. I paid $60 and I've lost $500.
Yeah,
like, that's not okay.
No.
Now, if you're just average Joe, you don't know that you can go into safe mode and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've got to spend your time looking on the internet and I like doing something stupid. Like, is this the right one? Am I on the right page? And like, if you don't know that kind of stuff, then that's going to be a problem. So.
But let's talk about our. It's hard. Let's talk about our experience with Anthem and some other games we've been playing because, I think I've played. Well, maybe at this point, since you streamed, you might have played more Anthem than I have.
I think I've played about 4 hours.
Okay, I'm probably at the same playtime, maybe not the same story time, but I think we've come away with the same feelings. But I won't speak for you. But for me, I've played and I've enjoyed what I've played in a. My mind keeps wanting to use this word cursory. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for, but in like a time passing way.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm on like the second or third mission. I feel weird, giving my honest opinion about Anthem because I've not sunk more time in it. But I think the point that I'm trying to make is that I haven't really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't grabbed me the way I thought, even though the moments that I have played, like, there were some really cool moments. So I'm like, I really liked how getting that combo and blowing shit up and all that stuff. But then at the same time, when I'm done with it, I'm not thinking, ooh, I want to go back.
Right.
The bug I had that was really bizarre, for the first mission, I went in private. I didn't do the matchmaking thing. I went in private because I didn't want to join up with anybody. And I tried on hard. I might have talked about this last week. I tried on hard, and I was just getting pummeled. And then I went down to normal, and then I did it all. But then I decided for the second mission, okay, you had talked about, you had done it, and it was fine. So I'm like, all right. So I opened up my matchmaking, and we're heading off. I'm heading off to the mission, and realize the other two guys I'm with are not going anywhere, or at least it doesn't look like it. And so I get to the first area. I'm fighting these wyverns or whatever. But I also left it on hard because you had mentioned normal is too easy when you're with a bunch of people.
So easy.
So I put it back on hard, and I'm fighting these wyverns, and they're just blasting me with fire. And so I'm like backing up and trying again, backing up, trying again, and I get this I get a loading screen just randomly pop up, and it ticks, and it respawns me in the same location. The reload screen is kind of like the tethering one that you get if you're too far away from another character.
Okay.
That's what it looked like, except I was the only one in the location, and the other guys were still back at the tower or the Fort Tarsus jump off
Yeah.
point. And then it booted me back in, and I was getting like 5 wyverns just burning me, and the entire world was red, like an inverted. This was not supposed to happen. Red.
Yeah.
And I thought at first it was like, oh, well, maybe it's because my life's super low or whatever. But I healed up, and it was all really red, and it started popping back into normal colors. I mean, this is not the worst thing that happened in the world, but it was very bizarre and very buggy. And eventually, one of the other guys came around, and then when we finished the mission, it was fine. I think beyond the bug, beyond the thing. Anyway, what I've felt about this game is that its reward system doesn't give me that sense of adrenaline like Destiny does.
Yeah.
I've talked a lot. I want to hear what you...
Well, I have a lot to say because I actually haven't run into any problems. My biggest annoyances are having to go through 5 different loading screens to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You slowly walk through the fort, finally get to talk to the person. You have a conversation. I was doing that on a stream, and I think for the story, if I go back to Anthem, I think for the story, I'm just going to play it on my own, not on the stream, because there's a lot of walking around and going through conversation trees, and I don't know if that's interesting. And you do that, and then you go do a mission for 5 minutes after going through 2 more loading screens, and then you come back, go through a loading screen, and have to go talk to somebody, and go have a 5-10 minute conversation, and come back and go through another 2 loading screens if I want to change my javelin up or change a weapon or anything. So I think if I continue to stream it, then I think I'll wait till we get till I get to the end game where we're just doing missions over and over, or doing the strongholds. But as far as my thoughts on the game, I just feel like there's a lot of cool things about this game. It looks like the character models are not really interesting. There's some really interesting characters. Owen is really cool. I want to learn more about Owen, a little bit more about Matthias. Matthias is a little annoying, but I think his story arc will be interesting. I think for the most part, the dialogue is really well done. There's a couple early missions. I think the story missions are not very interesting that I've done so far. They bring in and talking about easy. I was doing it on normal with match made. They this important target came into the mission. They're like, oh man, here's this one person, blah blah blah, and talking about this hardcore dude who popped in who's got 2 bars or whatever. And before they were done telling me who this person was, that person was dead. They didn't even have time to talk, or if they did at all. I was like, okay, well this is too easy, so I bumped it up to hard. But anyway, I just feel like there's a lot of good things. Flying around is awesome, but nothing is streamlined. It feels like there's a whole lot of really good things just not put together. It was if you had 5 different teams doing they clearly worked really hard on making the flying mechanics really interesting. It look really cool. That the environment is beautiful. There's a lot of diversity in the plant life, and you have just the skyboxes. It all looks beautiful, but it just nothing feels like it comes together well. The hook isn't there. Shooting, fighting the enemies is fine, but none of the enemies are interesting. They're bugs. They look like bugs, or different kinds of bugs, and that's just how they feel. And there's nothing interesting about them. At least maybe that will change as you get later, but even people playing in the later game are still talking about the same enemies that we're fighting now. So it doesn't sound like that changes other than the Titans.
Yeah.
So there's that problem. There's not a whole lot of javelin customization, because all the customization they showed in their streams previously
there?
is just gone. Like one of their customization streams showed like 10 helmets, and now there's 3, and one of them you had to get if you pre-ordered the Super Ultra Edition. So they're missing stuff there, which is this is a looter shooter without any loot.
And it's like,
And the shooting is not. I mean, the gameplay, the gunplay feels good, but the loop, it doesn't have the hook. Destiny, the gunplay is good. You drop.
well, and Destiny is a shooter, 100% a shooter.
Yeah, it's definitely a 100%. Well, it's a shooter with really interesting abilities and supers and grenades and stuff like that. And so it's got space magic, but it's just that loop of going in, doing the mission, and you get your reward, and you know what your reward is, and those rewards are interesting. They look different. They sound different. They do different things. They don't just shoot necessarily. You would get Gallahorn, and Gallahorn's a rocket launcher that when it exploded, you had smaller rockets pop out, and those tracked enemies, and they just did massive damage. And then each weapon had different elemental, properties and things like that. And Anthem, like all the guns look
The same.
a sniper rifle looks like a sniper rifle looks like a sniper rifle. They all look the same with different abilities or different like stats or stuff like that. And so it's just like they paid attention on how the gunplay felt, on how the flying felt, how the world looked, how the characters looked, how the dialogue sounded, but no one put it together. And so I just feel like I've said, I think if they had another year to put this, out as in the best condition to start off with, I think another year would have done it. I think I'll probably let this simmer while they, fix the crashing issues, get things, better polished. I'll probably wait another 6 to 12 months to really get into it, which is disappointing because I love BioWare. I'm really interested. I think the story could be really interesting. I just think it's just missing too much at launch to be worth it.
Yeah.
I want to put all this time into it, and then 12 months down the road, it's going to feel and play and be more streamlined.
Yeah, and that's a comment I've heard from a few different figures in the industry who are big into that game. It's like, maybe don't get it now because there are some things that are just not quite working.
And I'm not trying to detract from it. If you want to play it, if you're having fun, you're having fun.
For sure.
I'm not saying that. And like I said, the gameplay is fun. Using the abilities, play as a storm, hovering around, like crashing things down into enemies, and doing the combos. That all feels really good. But getting you don't even see your loot till the end of the thing, and you got to sit through a dumb victory screen and see a whole bunch of numbers that don't mean anything to anybody. Like I don't even know what those numbers do. You can't find those in a menu. Like
what's the Alliance XP? Like what is all?
Like I'm not in an alliance. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Am I in an alliance? Did they just throw me in one?
Yeah.
Can I talk to people? Like I don't know.
It's very bizarre. I am looking forward to seeing where it goes, though.
Oh yeah, they definitely have something here, but I just think it needs more time in the oven.
Now, something that I think is interesting is when Anthem was announced. So actually, going into 2019, I don't know that we talked about this much in our very first video where we were previewing 2019. We had talked about the games that we were most excited for, and Anthem was definitely one of them. And then there's another game that's coming out just in a few weeks called The Division 2.
Yeah.
And now, way back when The Division 1 came out, I remember you had bought it. I didn't even know. I just saw it on the screen. I was like, "Oh, you got The Division?" And we played it for maybe 10 hours altogether. And there were some things there, but it wasn't really feeling like it. So going into 2019, we had talked about either on the show or just interpersonally that, I had said, I wanted to be into The Division 2. Because there are things about The Division that are really cool. The world seems cool, being in this real world setting and being tactical or whatever. All that seems really cool. But you had said, you were like, I kind of know what I'm getting out of The Division. Nah, I'm not really into that. Anthem is where I'm going to be at. But fast forward to this week, and man, oh man, Are we eating our words?
Yeah.
The Division 2 open beta was from it was
It
like
was yeah,
Saturday
this past weekend. Yeah.
and uh well, and I had just decided, I could play Anthem, but the Division 2 beta's thing and it's open now
I
and
almost skipped out on it, and then you were downloading it. I was like, well, I'll download it too.
we've been trying to find reasons to stream and get more used to doing stuff like that. And so I was downloading it and then we hopped on and like within like an hour of like playing and getting going there, like I was hooked, man. It's just
Hmm.
um, uh, what I like. So those things that I was saying that I was looking forward to are here, and
Yeah.
just looking at it, like from the outside, it doesn't really feel like I'm playing that much of a different game.
Hmm.
Like, for all intents and purposes, for all of its similarities and with the original game, there's like there's so many minute differences that have boosted everything
Yeah.
about it. The gunplay is tighter. The enemies don't quite feel like bullet sponges to me. Um, the reward system, while still not as great as Destiny, in my opinion, um, like are there. You see what you're getting. The customization for the most part is great. I'll get into some of the things that I'm, you know, not so crazy about it, but uh, the enemy types. Well, right now in the beta, it was pretty samey, but they're gonna get more. Ubisoft and Massive have laid out a very detailed year
Hmm.
of what they're gonna do, and it's all free. You
Yeah.
can get it early with an annual pass if you're interested in that. And so playing that with you and that hook and the feel of the guns and doing that tactical stuff, it was like, well, I'm gonna go over here on the left and you're gonna go on the right, or I'm gonna use my seeker mine while you're using the turret or the drone or whatever.
Hmm.
All of that worked just so well.
Yeah.
It's the world is beautiful for the most part. Again, it's beta, so there's some bugginess. But when it first opens you up into of the world and you have to go into the White House, that whole trek to see the grass. I mean, I think that's a very deliberate choice, especially in the beta, to show you like there's sun in this game.
Yeah. There is a sun, and there's no snow.
Yeah, I think when you start walking through the streets, it starts to feel like the first division.
Hmm.
I mean, tall buildings, stuff like that, working around. In many ways, it does feel exactly the same, but it doesn't.
Right. No. Um, so with the Division One, I was really excited for. It's Tom Clancy's The Division, so
Hmm.
I'm a big Tom Clancy fan. I've always liked Ubisoft, so I was very interested. I was really into Destiny, so I assumed that I would get into this. And we, like you said, we played it for about 10 hours, and there was just some kind of like disconnect playing it. Like you you had this dude come up to you with a yellow bar, and he took a whole assault rifle clip to the face, and it just felt off.
Hmm.
If it was, I think we talked about it. If it was an alien,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it doesn't feel so weird to shoot an alien in the head 20 times because we don't understand their anatomy
Hmm.
or biology. Like this is something
When you
suspend
fictionalize
our
it, yeah.
disbelief on that. But when you shoot a guy in the head 25 times and he walks up to you and just kills you in 2 shots, it doesn't feel good.
Hmm.
And it just feels like, man, I feel like it should be more effective because I'm literally shooting you in the head. And so I had a problem with that, but like the gameplay was interesting. I wanted more,
Hmm.
and I fell off of it and wasn't really that interested in Division Two. And then, like you said, come to this week, playing it, it feels different. It doesn't feel the same. Like you said, the controls are tighter. I think there's been a change to like the camera. Everything just feels
Yeah.
just like it works. And playing with you, we just walk in. We could flank them. We could just do everything that we would want to, and no one just took crazy amounts of damage to the face,
Yeah.
and it felt good. I was listening to an interview with the creative lead, and I cannot think of his
Hmm.
name, Julian something. Um, and said basically that they wanted to bring that down. They wanted to feel they wanted the bullet sponginess to come down. And then the enemies that are a little bit more bullet spongy, like they make a visual um, reason for that. So like if they have a bunch of armor on, then you'll start seeing their armor chip off and flake off and fall off until they expose skin, and then they'll start taking more damage as expected.
Yeah.
And so I've lost my train of thought, but I just had a really good time, and now I'm more excited for the Division 2. And
It's like coming into March, it wasn't even in our like lineup of games. Actually, the other day, I was saying, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice is coming out in March. I'm like, I think that might be the only game I get. If I don't even know if that I'm going to get that anymore because I only got enough money for one. Well, I don't even have enough money for one game, but I'm going to get it. But
yeah,
so now I'm all about the Division, and
no, I'm really looking forward to it. And with the beta, there were some problems. On your screen, you saw me just holding my rifle up without a rifle, just holding my hands up, and then you were having some audio problems where you wouldn't hear my gunshots.
Yeah.
I've heard those, being around.
It was never problematic enough to not.
And again, this was a beta, not a demo.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
if you say it's a beta, I expect there to be problems and but for the most part, it worked. And I have a feeling that Ubisoft has learned so much between all of their different games of service products, from the Division,
Rainbow Six,
Honor. You have Ghost Recon. Like, I think they've learned so much. This, knock on wood, Ubisoft, but this might be like one of the first game of service launches that go pretty cleanly.
Yeah,
like they're coming out with like 70 hours of content. The 40
hours.
40 hours of story like day one, plus like at least 30 hours of just post game content. You get a whole new faction of enemies after you beat the game.
Yeah,
and then a whole year's worth of content for free.
Yeah,
like. I'll be really interested. I'm rooting for him. I want that game to come out, no problems. Everybody gets in, the servers don't melt, and it's fun.
Yeah, we might have to dedicate a whole episode to Division 2 because there's so much more I want to say, but we're running out of time.
Yeah.
But so be on the lookout for that. It comes out the 15th of March. If you pre-order it, you get it 3 days early. So I guess it would be the 12th. So keep an eye out for that. You can definitely squad up with us because we will be playing. And actually, that's one thing. The other day I was home and the beta was about to end. And I'm like, I want something to play, and so I was like, well, I want to do this mission, but I suck at the game. So I'm like, well, I'll matchmake this mission, and the guys I played with were so cool. They were good. I always do the preface when I match up with randos. I was like, just so you know, I suck and I die a lot, so don't get mad. And they're like, oh, so do I. It's cool. And so, there was 4 of us who went in, and it felt so natural. Now, and the thing is, at the end when we fought the yellow bar, we all died, and so I didn't feel bad about that because it wasn't just me. I died first, but and so.
So you're saying they died trying to pick you up?
Yeah, that happened. But but then they added me at the end. They're like, yeah, let's play again when the game comes out. So it was really cool, and that was one of the first no friends experience, like rando experiences that has worked out really well for me. And it's really seamless and all the stuff. And when you're done with the mission, it just puts you out in the world with your crew.
Oh, with that crew?
Yeah.
Oh, so
I mean, it doesn't even boot you. It doesn't it doesn't end the timer and then put you to a score screen or anything like that. You just walk out onto the street in the after the hotel or wherever you're at, and
you're still grouped up.
I mean, you can choose to
sure
leave out of it, but as far as I know, I mean, the thing is I was done playing by the time it was over, so we did a few things. I was like, all right, guys, I'm hopping off, but I don't know if they kept walking or something, it would have disconnected us, but we stayed in the crew until so I have a few more things I want to say, but I'm going to save that for next week.
Yeah, and we also played more Tetris 99,
Yeah.
which I reached rank. I came in 5th.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my thing about Tetris 99. I don't know what happened, but I recently just got really bad at it. Like,
Recently?
well, I mean, you know, I don't know that I'll ever get rank 1. You know, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm not okay with is regularly getting out anywhere between like the like 70 to 90 range, because I mean, you know, someone's got to get out of those, and obviously sometimes it's going to be you, and you just have a bad game. But I was like, the last like 3 nights before I go to bed, I you know, I upload it, you know, I hop on, and it's like within seconds I'm getting like pummeled. I'm like, am I wearing like a target or something? Like I had 5 guys on me, like targeting me, like right out the gate, and I was just getting, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? And then so I'm like doing this all, and then I even try to change up. Maybe, you know, sometimes if you go to like the options, you know, attack for KOs or attack for badges,
Mm-hmm.
and so you know some people just have it on attack your attackers. So it would be one thing, you know, you attack someone and then it automatically comes back to you because that's what their settings are.
Mm-hmm.
But it just drove me really mad to the point where I had to rage quit. And then I
Yeah.
played Luminous because only I can suck at Luminous. Anyway, so maybe I'll get good one day.
That's all for Tetris 99. Pull up the Slack because remember last week we didn't have the first of the month game.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna catch you up with last week's games and this week's.
So games coming out from the beginning of March until we meet you next week. We have the Dark Souls trilogy on PS4, Xbox One. Dead or Alive 6, PC, PS4, Xbox One,
PSC?
March 1st. The Lego Movie 2 video game in Europe, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, March 1st. Toe Jam and Earl, Back in the Groove, PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, March 1st. A lot of games on the 1st. Treasure Stack, PC, Xbox One, and Switch, March 1st. Then on March 5th, you have Attack of the Earthlings on PS4, Xbox One, Beat Cop, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, Eternity: The Last Unicorn, PC and PS4, and Left Alive, PC, PS4. On March 7th, where are we going to?
We're going to the 12th.
12th. All the way down there. Okay.
Yeah.
March 7th, you have TikTok: A Tale for Two on PC. On March 8th, you have Devil May Cry 5, PC, PS4, Xbox One. How about you take it from there?
Well, that just leaves me 2. Kirby's Epic Yarn comes out on the 3DS on March 8th, and MX, well, I guess Motocross MX versus ATV All Out Anniversary Edition comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And The Division comes out on the 15th, but we'll talk about that next week. So that's the show for this week. If you liked it, then like it.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. We had a lot, I
had
think
a
we
lot
had
to
pretty deep conversations today on
Yeah.
just the industry right now.
So I mean, there's a lot of things going on, and at the end of the day, be nice to one another. Enjoy the games that you want to play. Don't listen to the haters, and don't be a hater.
Be critical. It's all right to be critical of a game you pay for, but you don't have to be nasty. And if you don't like a game, or if you're not interested in the game, just don't play it. Don't talk about it. Go on. Find something you enjoy, not something you hate.
Exactly. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.